On to another headline-making story on tonight's news. An unidentified group has stolen 10 million rupees from the owner of a foreign currency exchange centre in Slave Island. The Colombo Crimes Division stated that a group disguised as police officers had carried out the robbery when the businessman had stepped out of a private bank. The robbers had abducted the driver and the businessman and had abandoned them in the Court Day area. The Colombo Crimes Division has commenced investigations into the incident.
On business news tonight, Sri Lankan authorities have decided not to pursue a new funding program with the International Monetary Fund or the IMF. Issuing a statement, the CBSL says that the IMF has indicated that the fund may not be in a position to consider any direct or indirect budget support to Sri Lanka, since the current improved status of the country does not warrant any unconventional and exceptional financial support for the government from the IMF.
The standby facility extended by the IMF to Sri Lanka in 2009 concluded last year. That arrangement was agreed upon to shore up foreign reserves in the country, which were decreasing rapidly at the time. Following the conclusion of the standby facility, dialogue between the IMF and local authorities recommenced regarding a further $1 billion loan.
අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියලා තින්නේ දැන් සංචිත ගොඩ නගන්න අපිට මුල්‍ය අරමුදල හෝ ලෝක බැංකුව වෙන කවුරුවත් වැඩක් නැහැ. හැබැයි අපිට
We have told them that in order to build up reserves now, we do not need the IMF or the World Bank or anyone else, but we can obtain funds without wasting time with conditions that suit our country. We must have funding arrangements that are effective and simple, but our condition is that the IMF must give the money to the Treasury and not the Central Bank. That money can be used for government investments.
The
IMF has indicated that it is not in a position to consider any direct or indirect budget support to Sri Lanka. Convening a media briefing today, the United National Party also commented on the matter.
IMF එක අල්ලගෙන පහුගිය කාලේ නොයෙක් ආකාරයෙන් සල්ලි ගත්තා. IMF එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි. චීනෙන් පුජ්‍යලික බැංකු වලින් මහා විශාල පොලියට ණය ගත්තා.
They got hold of the IMF and obtained various forms of loans. They took loans from private banks and are now in a debt trap that the country cannot escape. The IMF, the World Bank and other financial aid organizations give money to Sri Lanka with conditions. These conditions constantly mention problems relating to democracy. Because of the conditions relating to investment, the government is in the midst of numerous problems. So they are trying to tell the country that they rejected this as they could not follow these conditions. But the government is running behind the IMF and anyone else in the world who will give them a loan. It doesn't matter how much the interest is. This is what has been happening in the recent past.
Best cut. Make your choice now.
දේශපාලන අරමුණු ඉටු කරන්න මෙහෙම දරුවන්ව පාවිච්චි කරන එකට මම විරුද්ධයි.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ විකල්ප කණ්ඩායමක් විදිහට අපි පිළිගන්නේ
තමන්ගේ රාජකාරිය හරියට ඉටු නොකිරීම තමයි සදාචාර විරෝධී වෙන්නේ. නැතුව මේ කතා කරන්නේ නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා අපිට මේ නාවය සාගරය ආරක්ෂා කරලා දෙන්න තමයි නාවික හමුදාව තියෙන්නේ.
Vote now for your favorite cut of the day. Log on to www.newsfirst.lk or SMS to best space your choice and send it to 7788. For the best cut of the day, watch News First on Sirius TV at 10 tonight. Best cut. Make your choice now.
You're back with News First.
According to the Forbes magazine, following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, Sri Lanka's Cardinal, His Eminence Malcolm Ranjith, is amongst the front-runners for the head of the Catholic Church. His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith was placed in the 13th position in the Forbes list.
Meanwhile, the names of 9 cardinals have been proposed to replace Pope Benedict XVI. Among them are Cardinal Angela Bagnasso, Cardinal Angelo Scola, Cardinal Gianfranco Ravasi, Cardinal Christophe Chambon and Cardinal Marc Ouellet. Forbes magazine, quoting an official attached to the Vatican, states that there are no clear favourites. The magazine adds that Italians hold a quarter of the seats in the College of Cardinals, which will pick the next pope. However, a Canadian is also a front-runner. The Vatican spokesperson said that a successor would be elected by Easter, which falls on the 31st of March. Pope Benedict XVI made an announcement yesterday stating that he would step down on the 28th of February as the head of the Catholic Church. Pope Benedict XVI, formerly known as Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, was ranked in the number 5 slot on Forbes' most recent list of the most powerful people in the world.
An event to felicitate the new Minister of Petroleum Industries, Anura Priyadarshini, was held at the Kulunava fuel terminal today.
This felicitation ceremony was organised by the Sri Lanka Freedom Workers Union. The minister was accorded a warm welcome at the event. At the event, views were expressed regarding media reports on the sum of money spent to organise the event. I saw in the papers today that a large sum of money had been spent and that they were waiting to felicitate me. I only got a garland. I think it would probably be worth about 50 rupees. Other than this, you might give me a vade to eat. I do not think that will cost even 100 rupees. I do not accept this. But I can see one thing. There has to be an order in an institution. We spend in two ways. We spend to waste and we spend to invest. In the ideal institution, we see a good investment. That is when we look at how the market sees us. This is not beautification. The painting of this was delayed by several years because we did not have the facilities. I have worked at this institution for 17 years. Throughout this time, it is only now that we have got the ability and the money to do this. In the midst of this, they have used this event and are saying that we spent 10 million to felicitate you.
Parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa questioned on how the government could carry out development activities at schools while spending millions of rupees to welcome new ministers. The parliamentarian made this comment during a program held in the Suryawava-Galwava junction today.
They said that they will make Sri Lanka the centre for knowledge. However, with the appointment of new ministers to the cabinet, many ceremonies have been organised to welcome the ministers. 10 million rupees was spent by the Ministry of Petroleum that imports substandard fuel to welcome the new subject minister. Why can't they allocate 10 million rupees to develop 350 schools across the island which are on the verge of closure and stop the construction of new prisons? How can we make our country the centre for knowledge within 5 years when 350 schools are closed down? 135 Tikiri children's accounts were distributed under the auspices of parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa in the Suryawava-Galwava junction this afternoon.
The working committee of the Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya convened at the headquarters of the association in Pitakotte today.
Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe donated spectacles as part of the program launched by the Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya to assist the needy.
අයිතිවාසිකම් ආරක්ෂා කරන්න බෑනේ තනියම කෑ ගහලා. මෙතන ඉන්න ඕනේ.
We cannot work alone to secure the rights of the people. You need to either be on this side or the other. There is no point in engaging in other fights. There is only one battle, that is to safeguard this country. Everyone should bear this in mind, and that is our message. We need to establish a democratic government by using all our force. In order to achieve this goal, we have a responsibility to develop our party. That is why we have launched a program to develop our party. In the course of this year, I will take care of everyone. That is not a problem.
ඒකයි මේ අවුරුද්ද පක්ෂ වර්ධනය කරන්න කියලා අපි දාලා තියෙන්නේ. මං සියලු දෙනාම බලා ගන්න. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. ඒතකොට ඔක්කොම බලා ගන්න නම් ඔය සියලු දෙනා මටත් පොඩි.
But I need something in return. Become stronger and increase your numbers and help us take power, or else we won't be able to take care of you. There are two sides to the coin.
දැන් තියෙනවා කිවිසුමේ හරිද? ඒ වැඩේ කරාම මං ඉතුරු ටික කරලා දෙන්න.
අපි විපක්ෂේ ඉන්නවා නම් විපක්ෂේ කොන්ද කෙලින් තියාගෙන මට වැඩ කරන්න තියෙන්න ඕන. මට කතාවක් කරනකොට ඒ කතාවේ
if we are in the I should be able to work with pride. When I am speaking, I should not be told what to say and what not to say. You know that when the floods affected this area, we had the ability to provide food for every household. Then I requested Sajith Premadasa to visit this area and provided 10 kilograms of rice each. Now I cannot engage in such activities. I do not know how a government can be established by stopping welfare activities. I am disappointed as well, as there is no end to all this. They will hold a disciplinary inquiry when this statement is aired on TV tomorrow.
මේ ක්‍රියාදාමයේ අවසානය කොහෙද? එයි ආයි මේකටත් තව විනා පරීක්ෂණයක් තියයි මේක දැන් හෙට අනිත් රූපවාහිනිය ගියා.
The Mahasangha points out that the public is directing their displeasure towards the opposition more aggressively as they have failed to fulfill its responsibilities. Chief incumbent of the Kotte Sri Nagavihara, Venerable Madulu Ave Sobidathero, points out that a strong and an active opposition is necessary to protect the rights of the people in the country.
The Mahasangha recollects the manner in which the present government, which was in opposition benches during the UNF regime, launched protests against certain policies of the then government. Do not lay a finger on the Samruddhi, the prices of fertilizer and on the loans being granted to fishermen. Let us force the government not to take such steps. The Mahasangha points out that it is saddening that the opposition remains silent in light of many problems that have plagued the society. In a democratic country, a government as well as an opposition is necessary. The existing government needs to walk along the correct path, and if the government fails to do so, the opposition should be able to force the government to get back on line. I recollect the manner in which President Mahinda Rajapaksa, as the opposition leader, engaged in a protest march from Colombo to Katargama against certain policies of the UNF. They carried out various protests to tell the people about the wrongdoings of the government. It is evident that the present opposition is not active. This is why the government continues to become corrupt, as there is no formidable challenge. There is no one to protest against the government. When the opposition is weak, the people will not come forward for any activity. So this is a very sad situation. The current crime wave in the country is rising. What has the opposition done about this? Did the opposition join the people to stop this? Due to this, the people have become very unfortunate. Instead of the people showing their displeasure over the government, the people have begun showing their protest against the current opposition.
ඇත්තට වශයෙන් ජනතාවගේ අප්‍රසාදයක් තියෙන්නේ ආණ්ඩු කරන අයට නෙවෙයි විපක්ෂය කරන මේ ක්‍රියාදාමයට විපක්ෂයට ජනතාව විරුද්ධතාවය තියෙන.
And up next is the newspaper cartoon of the day.